So it's whatever date it is. I think. What are we on? I think we're on the 30th. Okay. I've spent the last 2 days fighting with Alexia cable and the included software. I'm getting there. It's a lot further forward than it was. My desk is covered in car parts. They need to go on. It's pads for the Volvo, waiting for rears. It's a lovely day though, so I think it is time to switch this nonsense off and go outside, and we can kind of introduce you to the cars, of which there are a few. So let's go and do that. Okay, so I think the car that most of you will be interested in be the 205 here. It's 1994 non-turbo diesel 1.8. Ignore that, that's a lie. As is this, which will be going, aiming for no real cosmetic modifications. These wheels, they'll be going eventually. Have a set of rally steels to go on and some 206 wheel trims to keep it looking kind of boring. I think I'll keep the spotlights though. The spotlights are okay. I don't know where all this nonsense came from. Wasn't like that yesterday. I think we had a bit of wind overnight. It's kicked up a lot of dust. Yeah. So this car is on 121,000. It's okay for its age. It's got a few bits and pieces. These are a bit faded. That fell off when the MOT tester had it on the brake tester last year. So it was fun. A few little bits and pieces of trim missing. It kind of looks like I nicked it at the moment, but we'll fix that. Yeah, it kind of looks like I nicked it. This is very true as it stands right now. No power, 60 horsepower, which is not very much. So we'll just pop the bonnet here, shake the whole car. Let's have a look at what we're working with on this end. Airbox is on the passenger seat right now. Had to take that out to get the gearbox, have a look. So as it stands, there is a fuel leak just coming out of this pipe here at the union for the priming bulb there, which is unfortunately leaked directly onto the alternator. So it's not charging the battery right now, which is helpful if I want to move it from where it is sitting right now. It's also absolutely pissing diesel out of this injector here. I have some injector seals to keep it going. I don't know if they're the right ones. We'll find out. Service box wasn't very useful. Fairly recent cam belt there. Did that with my dad, as you can see, in 2017. Might have got some diesel on it in the meantime. The alternator belt down there is new because it failed, possibly in relation to there being diesel everywhere. This isn't on right because again these two belts here are brand new. Apparently the right ones. That's as tight as I can get that. It's not very secure, but at the end of the day it's only driving around the yard at the moment. What else? What else? What else? It seems to be leaking something constantly. You can't really tell just now because it's parked on grass. But when it was parked on tarmac, it was leaving some wet spots. A lot of age related. That's completely into there. There's a couple of pounds to fix it. It'll get done at some point. Again, up here, hopefully I can get hold of an uncracked one. Where are we? There we are. Maybe just leave it as is. Doesn't look too bad. Washer hoses are absolutely minging, but that's all small things. We'll tidy up this wiring at some point as well. It's a bit of a bodge to get the headlights and the spotlights to work. That can get dealt with at the same time as this indicator and that side repeater are not doing anything at all at the moment. As I said, the airbox is out, so I can get down to the gearbox here, because I needed to establish what parts I am getting to allow us to run the right clutch, but we'll get to that probably in a different video. I'm just going to disconnect this right now because it's not going anywhere. There we go. So that is the 205. Volvo next, or 307 next. I think I'll do a separate video on the Volvo, so we'll just head over to the 307 just now. Okay, so here we go. This our 307 here. It's not the nicest looking thing. It's got a few bits and pieces wrong with it. The panel gap on the bumper here isn't the best, but that doesn't matter. It has relatively new discs and pads on it. Probably going to keep those just in case. They won't fit under 14s, so they're not eminently useful, but you never know where these projects might go, so it's worth keeping them there because it's not cheap. Keep the calipers, keep the discs, obviously use new pads if it comes to it. So inside, you'll see this car is on 135k, a bit more than the 205, but they're strong engines, I think. This one's had a quite easy life. Unfortunately, by virtue of it being French, it's not doing too well on the old electrics front, which is how it's come to be in my ownership. We'll just get you up like this. So I've already got to work getting all the plastic out of the way. As you can see, it's an engine, isn't it? This is temporary, just so that we can drive it around the yard without letting too much shit in through the intake there, while still having the airbox out so that we can access again the gearbox. So there are a couple of problems with this. This is leaking. I think they all do that eventually. It'll probably get an inline filter of some sort so that this is out of the way anyway. Other than that, engine wise we are pretty good. It needs a cam belt. We'll do that with the engine out, just because that doesn't look like fun down there, does it? And since the engine's coming out anyway, this mount needs to come off to get the engine out. It also needs to come off to do the cam belt, so might as well do them in one go, eh? We're going to have a lot of fun in there eventually. Similarly, down here, as you can see, it currently has a hydraulic clutch, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually. Bring back. Don't know if you're able to see or not. Down here. Oh look, there's no back box. deliberate. That was deliberate. We pulled that off the day that it turned up, in part because someone off the forums was after a bat box to butcher, in part just because we wanted to hear what it sounded like. I don't know if you can really see there, but a problem we noticed when we were putting it on the ramps is back wheels are canted inwards, which I don't know about these, but on the 205 would mean that the rear axle is shagged. So I don't feel remotely bad about killing this car. So I just get in here, we have the one key, we can't lose that. We also can't press these buttons, because if we press these buttons it will never unlock ever again. So there we go, that's our dashboard lit up. We've started to strip this out. If anybody needs any parts from this, just give me a message and I'll see what I can do for you. Anything that isn't engine related will be available for not very much. I'm not sure you would want much of this interior, but I'm sure it'd clean up okay. So we're about to find out why one of the reasons this car came to me. So we'll just let that go. I don't think the service indicator is accurate. I'm fairly sure that has been dealt with. So let's just start it and see what happens. There we go, it starts nicely. Now that the battery's working, oh, there we go, there's the first one. Yeah, it's holding time okay. ABS fault, airbag fault, got another one? Is it going to beep again? Oh, yeah, just airbag. ABS and airbag. Obviously, I know that airbag is an MOT fail, but I'm not sure about ABS. Either way, I'd thought about getting this through another MOT to kind of use it as a daily and see what's what with it, but I'm not throwing money at fixing an airbag fault in a 16-year-old car that I don't even like. As you can probably hear there, the straight pipe gives it a nice tractory burble, combined with that £20 Halfords universal air filter. I wouldn't trust that on the road. We could take it for a little drive just now, but it's pretty uninspiring as it stands, honestly. It's a reasonably heavy car in comparison to the 205. It seems to be having some issues with the EGR valve, maybe. I'm not sure. Also, it absolutely stinks in here, so I don't want to spend too much time in here, but we'll just give it a... So it sounds nice, I think, anyway. It'll sound even better once it's on the 205, but we'll have a bit of a talk about the plans for it there soon. Honestly, a bit of a clean, fix the airbag fault. It would make a reasonable daily for someone for a while. But good luck fixing the airbag fault on a 16-year-old Peugeot. We're doing it cheaply anyway. It's definitely possible to fix. I don't really care. I don't think these airbags would fire anyway. A bit of information about the car. In fact, we'll just switch this off while we do this. We talk about this. So yeah, a bit of information about the car. It is a 2003 307 Rapier, with the 2-litre HDI outputting 90 horsepower and 205 newton meters of torque, something like that, which is a nice bump up from the 205's 105. So it should make it go a bit quicker. A bump of sort of 30 horsepower plus 100, basically doubling the torque, should go pretty well. Unfortunately, it has the slightly harder to deal with Siemens ECU, which, depending on who you ask, is the end of the line for the project or just another hurdle. And honestly, if I hadn't managed to get this car for free, I would probably be a bit worried about that. If I hadn't managed to get this car for free, I would probably be using a 306 as a donor. But 306s are getting fairly desirable in their own right, so I don't want to kill one just to make my car go a little bit faster. So 307 it is. That has brought up its own issues, which I'll kind of talk about in a bit of detail in a little bit. But yeah, let's see if we can take one fairly uninspiring 205 and one honestly boring piece of street furniture that is a 307, because I don't think there's much interest in these really. I'm on the owners club and there's a couple of people that like them, but absolutely nowhere near where the 205 is right now, and that's to be expected. They're just sort of between 10 and 20 years old now. I think the oldest ones will be 18. I think these were introduced 2001. I'm not sure. But a bit more about this particular car. It's been owned by the parents of a family friend for the past 6 years. There's apparently service history. I don't have it. I think it's been maintained within the family for most of the time they've had it. I think it was one owner before them. Possibly belonged to a garage. I can't remember what the story behind it is. It's been well looked after. The body-wise, other than that big dent in the door, it's pretty spot on. It's got some ugly but strong, really strong welding on the sills. The day that it turned up, we were putting it on the ramps to get the back box off, and we kind of overshot a little bit and ended up with one of the sills, one of the ramps sitting under the sill. Didn't bother it at all. No damage whatsoever. So I have no doubts that this engine is going to serve us well. Certainly for a while anyway. I've kind of got some vague plans to try and get a 110 unit because power, more boost. But for now, it's a case of how cheaply can we get this engine out of this car into that one. I think we're almost at the stage where we can get it dropped in, but kind of need to start writing down plans now, which is kind of where this channel is coming from. As much as it is to try and entertain you lot, all three of you probably, a big part of it is for me to have something to look back on and go, right, we did this, that's how it's going to work. So while I'm drawing up plans, I will probably talk you through it all. I'm not going to upload hours of talking to myself over plans, but I'll certainly be uploading some of the more interesting bits. The last few days have been spent identifying and sourcing parts. I think we're almost there. We have mounts, we have gearbox parts, kind of, clutch parts rather. Gearbox should just mount straight up. The clutch is causing a little bit of an issue. We want to maintain the cable clutch as fitted to the 205 because I would rather have the shell in a state where if it comes to it I can either drop in the original XGD unit again or drop in an engine from a GTI or even an MI16 or something like that one day. I don't want to modify the shell for the sake of sort of £20 worth of bits to convert the gearbox to a cable clutch. And honestly, I'm not a mechanic. I don't think I should be bodging together some horrendous Frankenstein thing to convert that car to have a hydraulic clutch. And at the end of the day, that's what it would be. It would be a Frankenstein. So yeah, the clutch is current focus. I've identified the parts that I need. I'm just trying to source them. I'm told that they're available from Citroën, from Peugeot still, as fitted to a Berlingo and a partner. I think the Expert as well, just light commercial stuff. Obviously car derived, no need for it to have the latest and greatest, but it obviously had this gearbox in it, which is good. There's not really very much else I can say. I'll just give you a quick look at something that I find quite funny about this particular car, though. I think I have enough electrical problems with the 205, and it has about 10 connections in the entire thing, and most of those are lights. So yeah, this is a little bit more complicated than that. So you know the jokes about the French and wiring. This car has made me realise that they're not really jokes. They're pretty accurate. So let's just go and have a look at that very quickly. So I just found that trim piece on the ground. I think that's the third time it's fallen off now. These clips they've had it. So that's fine. So we're missing the wiper as well. That doesn't matter. So we want in the boot. Doesn't open. I don't know how it's supposed to open. I guess there's probably... Is there a switch somewhere? Who knows? I don't know how the French work. The bonnet release is over on that side, the same as the 205 and every other French car I've ever been near. We're just going to take this key out because you never know when it's going to decide it wants to keep that. So how do we open the boot? Ignore that. So we have this. We just give it a flick on. You'll probably hear that there. And then the boot opened to reveal some bits of engine. Close that again. Yeah, top quality. So that's the 307. We're back in the 205 now. There's not really very much to say about in here, other than all the little niggles of bits of trim missing, or well, it's not missing, it's on the shelf in my garage. But the screw holes have sheared out because at the end of the day it's 25 years old this year, and as relatively low mileage as 125k is, the sun doesn't get on with plastic, as we've seen from this door pocket here, that sort of thing. So what are my plans for in here? Honestly, not very much. Interior wise, it's maybe going to get a couple of bucket seats of some sort, whether that be aftermarket ones or sourced from another car, another Peugeot maybe. Might go for something silly in 80s, sort of sporty Vauxhall rubbish, but probably not. In any case, it's gonna have my fluffy seat covers back in it eventually, because they cause offence to everyone that sees them, and I love it. So interior is going to stay pretty much the same. I'll need a boost gauge. This stereo is coming out. It's cheap and nasty. It was just the cheapest one that I could get that had DAB and an aux in. I think this particular one actually came from a scrapyard for £15. I had another Bluetooth one, but that's long gone now. sold that to a mate who isn't a mate anymore and never gave me the money for it. But that's how life goes, isn't it? So we have the airbox here. I'll probably open this up at some point and have a look inside, because this I serviced it last year. It's not done many miles since then, but they have a habit of filling their air filters with oil because of the manner in which the crankcase ventilation is set up, which is originally it was fitted with a foam spongy thing air filter, and it's now fitted with a paper element. That wasn't a deliberate choice, it's just what was available at the time. I believe they're interchangeable. It's not blown up yet, doesn't run any better or any worse. I think that's the first time it's had an air filter in my ownership, and I've had it since 2016. I've had this car since, and that was the first of it getting an air filter. I'd changed the oil. I changed the oil when I got it. I changed oil filters, that sort of thing. It's still running the fuel filter. I forgot to mention that actually it's running a BMW 320d inline fuel filter rather than the standard XUD one that sits on top of the engine, because the original one leaks, and similar to the HDI, they all leak. So obviously Peugeot didn't really learn anything from that. Other small plans. I don't want to talk too much about big plans right now. We'll get to that. So it is wearing its original dealer plate on the back, or certainly an original dealer plate. Pre-2001 font, looks alright. I accidentally have another rear plate here. I ordered two fronts and they sent me a front and a rear by accident, but that's fine. Emailed them, got that sorted out. This is quite nice actually. Pre-2001, it has a nice beveled edge, which I think just adds to it. It should keep it looking nice for longer. Don't know if I'm going to fit this or not yet. It's nice to keep it on the original plate, but it would always be nice to keep the original plate nice. So I've got a couple of front plates here. So we have just a standard front plate with a little bit of silliness, because we like silliness. So that's probably what it's going to wear most of the time. It's got a Halfords one on at the front at the moment. It's not in bad condition. It's not in great condition either. But I don't like the new font. It looks too small. Certainly does not suit a 1980s car. Yeah, 80s, 90s, same thing. We're not too picky here. And also to fit between the spotlights quite nicely, we have this. It's from the same supplier as those other two. It's good quality, not bendy at all. That should improve the look of it a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on it yet. I've seen a few 205s going about with them, but we'll see. That's about it, really. Like I said, I'll do a video about the Volvo soon. It's about to get new used discs from my old Volvo, and a set of new pads, because I think the old discs have been sat around a while, so they might chew up the old pads. And pads are cheap. I don't think it's the place to be skimping on. Yeah. I hope I've not bored you too much. I probably have. Yeah. So next video will be kind of talk through what the plan is, how I intend to go about it, costs involved. There's not very many costs involved, it's all parts. The joy of doing it yourself. Hopefully introduce you to Keith, who will be he's as much of an idiot as I am, honestly. He's probably not going to be that much help, but then again, neither am I. So we'll introduce you to him. we'll hopefully introduce you to his car as well, because his car is very nice indeed. Introduce you to... No, that's it. We've got Keith at the moment. Maybe get some more people when we need them. Maybe get someone in to teach me to weld rather than trying to teach myself. That'll be fun. Got a couple of more things that I want to show you about the car that I've just spotted while I've been sitting here. So we'll just get you turned back around and we can show you that. So until I started having the fuel leak issues and the electrical issues and belts snapping and all that fun nonsense, this was actually almost a daily. It was sharing its duties with the Volvo out there. So it's a little bit manky inside. Do a video about cleaning that up. It's not difficult. The videos have been done before, but not by me. So, number one, box of fuses. Cost me nothing. Went to a scrapyard with an empty tin and pulled all of the fuses out of every car I could find, to be honest. Not that it's that useful, because we've got about... I don't know how many of these actually do anything in here. Because I know that one of them is for power windows. We don't have power windows. Nope, there's nothing there for power windows actually. What have we got that we don't need? We don't need the central locking one there, because it doesn't have central locking as far as I know. Seems to have... No, that's rear fog, so we do have that. Honestly, I've never had a problem with any of these fuses. Pretty sure these two here are as old as the car, these spares here. Along with, unsurprisingly... Oh wait, nope. Yes, that is for power windows there. We have a power window fuse. So that is a fuse from 1994 that has never had any current at all flow through it. So that's nice. What's this one for? It's central locking again. That seems to share its fuse with this interior light up here, which... Oh, I disconnected the battery, didn't I? Oh well. So here's that stereo I was talking about. It's a nice stereo. It doesn't suit the car though. I think it's held in with bits of Rizla packet at the bottom there. It doesn't look very nice. It should have a bit of trim around it, but I lost a bit of trim. I think it might be at the MOT station, to be honest. Got some lovely electrical tape there to shield my eyes from the glaring light provided by modern flash drives. Got Mr. Bones here. He's staying. I like Mr. Bones. Probably wouldn't be too good in a crash if you... it's going through your palm, but we try not to crash here. Just some sort of shit in the back there. Some tools. Some car parts. Oh, that is a point, car parts. Unfortunately, it probably doesn't seem unfortunate, but it is somewhat unfortunate. It's been sat a while, so these look a bit crusty, but those are brand new brake discs. And if we can get focus in there, you can't really see. That's a set of brand new Brembo OEM spec brake pads. It's not got new drums on the back yet. I'm waiting on bearings getting pressed in for them. This might not sound unfortunate, but after I did that, I sourced a set of GTI brakes for this, discs all round. Nice big discs, vented discs on the front. So my hard work there will be going. They'll probably stay for a little while I sort out any niggles with the engine, but they will be going eventually. So if anyone needs some brakes for a 205, I'll have all of that available for you if you need it. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, I guess. Leave me a comment if you think it's a great idea, or if you think it's a stupid idea. I've had both already. Might as well tell me some more. Give the video a like if you feel like it. Don't if you don't. I'd rather you didn't dislike it, but if you didn't like it, you should let me know, I suppose. Thanks for watching. Just a little extra on the end here. I mentioned about the stereo. Here is the stereo that is going in. Look at that, isn't that lovely? 8.5 watts times 2, that is plenty. Does it do both AM and FM? I don't know. Must do. It's got a tape deck though. Play my tapes. What's this say at the bottom here? Best station memory. I'm sure it does. My favourite feature of this stereo though is, press that, a little handle comes out. Probably can't do this one-handed, but it pulls out of this cage, which is purpose built for the stereo. Automatically connects the wiring at the back there. Just generally a bit neater than your standard DIN cage. Lets us take the stereo out just in case there's any 90s car thieves going about. Excellent.